Welcome back. Welcome back. Day one of free agency done. Going to go through every single guy that was re-signed, traded, signed somewhere else. We're going to go through it all, coaches, everything. I'm going to have timestamps and player icons in the bottom left so you'll be able to see and click around. But starting off with the LA Clippers, James Harden re-signed 2 years, $70 million. Expensive for James Harden, but not that bad. It's just confusing for me because when you think of the Clippers, they seem like they're trying to push for a soft rebuild right now, but I understand that the core of Kawhi and Paul George didn't work out the way they hoped. So, but you're trying to move Russell Westbrook, which we will touch on, and Paul George is officially leaving the Clippers, which I will also touch on at the end. But re-signing Harden, I don't know if him and Kawhi really makes that much of a difference together in the thick of the Western Conference because it's so uber talented and teams are already getting better. Like the Lakers are creating money. The Mavericks created some money moving Tim Hardaway. So just confusing. I don't think James Harden is at the stage of his career where he can be the second best player on a championship team. I don't think he is. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but $35 million for James Harden while also trying to move off Russ and Paul George. Interesting move. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I hate it. I'm going to wait and see. Maybe they have another trade up their sleeves that they're trying to get someone else or re-sign someone. But just interesting stuff from the Clippers. I think they're just trying to hold their fans in place so that when they open the new stadium, they can go and have all them be there and all that stuff and keep the hype that this team could be really good still there. But moving on to Kevin Love. Re-signed 2 years, $8 million with the Miami Heat. Nothing too crazy there. He's backup big who's going to rebound and shoot threes. Every team kind of needs one. You can get one on $4 million per year. Pretty good snag for the Heat. I thought Kevin Love was okay. I don't think he was over the top great for them. But hey, maybe he'll turn it around, and this Miami team is going to try and come back with vengeance after just re-signing Bam to a crazy deal. Good for him. But yeah, just interesting. A lot of weird stuff going on with Miami with Jimmy Butler like not requesting a trade, but not signing an extension. Just odd stuff. I mean, Jimmy Butler's a weird guy, so you never know. But Kevin Love staying in Miami, nothing too crazy there. Same thing here. Luke Kornet re-signed with the Celtics for 1 year. I didn't see the money on this. So if you see the money somewhere on Twitter or you know how much he got signed for per year, please leave that in the comments and I'll pin your comment. But yeah, Luke Kornet, backup big. I thought he was pretty damn good for them. Did what he needed to do. He rebounds, he crashed the glass, and is decent pick and roll partner and puts down lobs. Like that's Luke Kornet, and he's there for memes too. So every team needs a meme guy. They just do. Obi Toppin re-signed 4 years, $60 million to the Indiana Pacers. Not a bad deal. $15 million for Obi Toppin. Very generous contract for the team-wise. I don't know if he's in this day and age, $15 million for a guy of that caliber probably makes sense. I just wish the Pacers kind of made a bigger move. And to me, this seems like similar to the 2021 Hawks run where they made the conference finals. They did beat some good teams in that, but they were a little banged up, all that stuff. And you're just trying to stay complacent and think that this team is good enough to get back there. You saw how it went against Boston. There's a clear jump in talent. And even in the teams they played, the Bucks didn't have Giannis, and Damian Lillard was hurt. Chris Middleton was hurt. The Knicks insanely battered. So this run to me seemed a little fluky, sue me. But I just wish they kind of made a big move. Maybe they were try and go after a sign and trade with Paul George or something like that. A big free agent on the market or trade for someone. I don't know. But for me, the Pacers, that was just one move that I thought the money could have been used elsewhere. For maybe a guy like a DeMar DeRozan, who I think would help elevate them a little bit more and just give them some more consistent scoring because Tyrese sometimes just doesn't like shooting the ball. I don't know what that's about, but we'll be talking about the Pacers throughout the offseason because they're one of the best teams to talk about, and Pacers fans, I know you guys always support, so we appreciate that too. Another weird contract for me, at least, Max Christie, 4 years, $32 million. Maybe I'm just not tuned in, and I don't think Max Christie played a ton last year, and signing him for 4 years seems like a long time for a guy that didn't really get a ton of playing time with already a heavy guard rotation between D'Lo, Reeves, and then like you can even throw LeBron in the ball handling responsibilities. But I do know that JJ Redick is a huge fan of Max Christie. So this is probably something to do with his doing. But yeah, I mean, 8 mil is not bad in this day and age. It's pretty standard for role players at the minimum. So I think Max Christie has potential to be pretty good. It's just a matter of it's a long time to bet on a guy that you haven't really seen a ton from. Maybe I'm just being naive. I don't know. Please let me know in the comments, Lakers fans. But just one of those deals that I'm a little shocked by, but not at the same time. So let me know your thoughts on all of these because I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Finn and Slim are busy, so I'm just recording this solo. Make sure the people know what's going on league wide if you're not on Twitter. So this is where you can find all this news because we'll be putting up community tab posts, so subscribe. But the biggest re-signee of the day, Cade Cunningham, 5 years, 225, max extension. Great for Cade. He deserves it. Definitely a all-star caliber player once the team finds a little more success. And I think with JB Bickerstaff, which is another hiring today, that is going to really be good for the Pistons. For me, at least, I'm a Cavs fan, so I've been with JB for the last 5 years. I know how he operates. He's a really good coach for developing guys and getting the best out of guys that might not be as talented. However, once you get to the point where your guys are talented enough to try and compete for a championship, he's not that good of a coach. And there's some things that's problems that he doesn't know how to really do an offense at the level of which you can let your star players really be their star player. And that's what happened with the Cavs. That's why he was fired. But we'll obviously do Cavs videos all the time around here. But I think that this pairing is going to be interesting. We saw what he did for a guy like a Darius Garland or even a Colin Sexton in his one breakout year. Donovan Mitchell has had his best career seasons with the Cavs for regular season numbers wise. So you're going to be able to get that. He just played with, he just coached Jarrett Allen, and I think Jalen Duren has some of that in him, probably better than Jarrett Allen, or he will be better than Jarrett Allen, but he knows how to use the bigs and the guards to work together and get the most out of them. We saw a huge jump from the Cavs in that one season. So I'm excited. I think the Pistons are moving in the right direction. I also love Ron Holland. We didn't do a video on that, but we will touch on it later on. Okay, let's get to some guys that signed with different teams. Those were all the re-signees for today. Let me know if I missed anyone, please, in the comments. But Contavious Caldwell-Pope signs with the Magic, 3 years, $66 million. I don't know the full cap breakdowns and all of that, but I'm pretty sure this means that the Magic are out of the Paul George race. I could be wrong. Maybe they're not. But I think if you can somehow add KCP and Paul George, you're in a really, really good spot if you're the Magic. I loved what I saw from them versus the Cavs. I did not think that series was going to go 7 games. And obviously, first time in the playoffs, the role players played unbelievably well at home, not so great on the road. Paulo was unbelievable throughout. That guy is going to be a bona fide superstar in this league for the next 15 years. Like, he's that talented. He's got the IQ for it. And home, away, does not matter. Okay. But KCP brings that championship culture to the Orlando Magic, which they did not have. They had guys, but more specifically, just touching on the KCP signing itself, I think he's going to bring that championship culture, the playoff experience, the leadership, all of that stuff that comes with being on a team like Denver, who's been consistently in the running for the championship and winning a championship. It's just one of those moves that's really savvy. And I've always touched on this. If you've ever watched any of our videos regarding young teams, I've said it for years now. The Pistons need to sign some veterans that have been part of winning teams. The Hornets, same kind of deal. You need veterans on young teams. Like, look at how the Houston Rockets are building. Adding a guy like a Jeff Green, like, that's a good signing. Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, those guys have been on winning basketball teams. And now you're seeing the development of these young pieces and the team as a whole. And yes, you're going to have to overpay for some of these guys. $22 million a year for KCP is a lot of money. And I'm not going to say it's not, because it is. But this is the price you pay in the NBA today. So for them to be able to get a guy like KCP, I think is huge. I'm excited for the Magic, and Magic fans, you should be pumped. Probably the most shocking move of the day, which I am so excited for. Chris Paul, 1-year deal with the Spurs for $11 million. Him next to Wemby. is going to do wonders for not only Wemby's development, for Devin Vassell, for Stephon Castle, who we just did a video on. I'll pop it up right now, top right, if you want to watch that. But this move is genius. I don't know how. I guess Chris Paul has just kind of completely given up on winning a ring. So, but I think he just really loves helping young guys develop. Like, we saw what he did with that Thunder team. Look at where they are now. We saw what he did with the Suns. Look at where they are now. I mean, actually, they're pretty shitty right now. But look at Devin Booker's development, as for instance. Or think of a guy like Trey Jones, who's going to learn so much from Chris Paul. And just think of the opportunities that Wemby is going to get now. You have 3 bona fide point guards on your roster now. You saw what you had with Sohan at the 1. Obviously did not work. Now you go and you get a guy like a Chris Paul. You draft a guy like Stephon Castle. And now you go and have Trey Jones. I love this move for the Spurs. I don't think it puts them anywhere near title contention or the playoffs or anything like that. But for Wemby and for the rest of this team, this year is going to just take in as much information as you can and learn as much as you can from Chris Paul, because this is how he's going to show you how to play the point guard position for those guys. And he's going to show Wemby how nice it is to be able to have a guy that can actually get you the ball. And I'm so excited to watch the Spurs, which I did not like. Obviously, Wemby's a big draw, and I would always watch just for him. But seeing this team play with Chris Paul and with Stephon Castle and Wemby, it's just, I'm so excited. Next move, Jonas Valanciunas going to the Wizards, 3 years, $30 million. Kind of just odd, especially after you just drafted Alex Sarr. I guess you maybe want him to learn under Valanciunas or something like that. I think Valanciunas just kind of went where the money was, and $10 million a year for Valanciunas. Fair enough. Not much to really talk about there. It's the Wizards. They're going to be pretty bad. We know what they're going to be, but at least you'll be able to watch Alex Sarr. Now we're moving into the Sixers portion of this video. Eric Gordon signs with the Sixers 1 year. Obviously, if you know the money, let me know in the comments. Probably going to be around a minimum. So minimum deals in the NBA today are the biggest high risk, high reward kind of moves, because we saw a guy like Kelly Oubre, Derrick Jones Jr. last year on minimums absolutely ball out and play way above their pay grade. And both of them are going to get paid by some team this offseason. That's just how it's going to be. And Eric Gordon hopefully can be one of those guys for the Sixers, gets them some needed 3-point help, and basically it for Eric Gordon. Another one, they needed a backup big instead of Paul Reed, B-ball Paul. Just another guy that you can throw in and just clash with. Like, Andre Drummond is going to be a physical force inside. That's how he's always been. That's how he always will be. He's going to play 12 minutes a night to 20. And he's going to grab 10 rebounds. Like, that's just what Andre Drummond is going to do. You know what you're going to get. 2 years, $10 million to the Sixers. I like that signing. I think Andre Drummond, I would have liked to see him as a basketball fan go to a team like OKC, who just needs some more big help and just needs like a big, strong guy you can throw at the bigs in the Western Conference. Because I understand if you want to try and beat him with space, but at a certain point, you're going to have to become a better rebounding team if you really want to compete for a title. And I think in order to do that, you're going to need a bigger guy. And I was hoping that he would go to the Thunder. But hey, Philly, you get your guy in Andre Drummond. But moving on to the biggest free agent of the summer, Paul George. Okay, sorry for the quick cut. Next morning, I was going to upload this video talking about those other moves, but it's all going to be in one. So you're seeing this in the lit portion of it, or you just clicked around and made it here. But some huge moves around the NBA. Paul George officially signing with the Philadelphia 76ers, 4 years, $212. I'm going to cut back to the point where I was talking about the fit with all of them. We also did an off-season video on the Sixers, so you can go check that one out. Is just the fit. Like, think about taking Tobias Harris for how much money he was making and then putting in Paul George and running back this roster. And what, I mean, you're going to have to re-sign Kelly Oubre and stuff like that. But this roster's, the core guys are intact. Maxey's going to sign his extension in a day or two. So you know what this team is. You have an MVP in Joel Embiid. You have one of the best young stars in the NBA in Maxey. And then you're going to add, most likely, a guy like Paul George. I'm pumped. As a Cavs fan, I'm not happy about it. We will talk about the state of the Eastern Conference later on and what like the tiers of things are around the league. Maybe we'll do an off-season match tiers episode after free agency, which I think we probably will do. So check that out. Subscribe for that. But yeah, just one of those moves that makes so much sense for all parties involved. I'm excited to see Paul George in Philly, hopefully. More Sixers stuff. Tyrese Maxey, 5 years, 205. I mean, we all knew this was coming. One of those guys that's absolutely worth it. No doubt in my mind will be all-star quality, if not an all-star for the next 5 years, like barring injury. Maxey's unreal. Maxey is a playoff performer. We saw it just last season versus, and I like his game a lot. He's very, very good. And I'm just excited to see the Sixers team fully healthy. Re-signed Kelly Oubre as well. A huge, huge, huge deal. Lost to Anthony Melton, but that's fine. You got guys now. You got Jared McCain to fill the Anthony Melton role. You got Maxey re-signed. You got Paul George. You signed Andre Drummond. You saw all the guys we just talked about. This team is going to be loaded. I don't know if I'm ready to put them in that same tier as Boston, but it's pretty damn freaking close. Now moving on to the Thunder, who are also very active right now. Aaron Wiggins re-signed, 5 years, $47 million, locking up one of their key role players. Always a good move, whether he's solid, bad, potential, doesn't matter. I like the signing a lot. It's expensive, but hey, what did I have said this whole video? Guys that are mids in the NBA, like low quality role players, are making around $8 to $10 million a year. It's crazy, but that's just how it is. Same kind of deal here with Isaiah Joe. Sharpshooter, 4 years, $48 million, re-signed to the OKC Thunder. Another guy just in that rotation that's going to be a difference maker per usual. And with this next guy, I might be putting OKC as my favorite to come out of the West. It's going to be tough to put him ahead of Denver, but let's talk about this guy. Isaiah Hartenstein, 3 years, $87 million. Good on him. Played his ass off this season. Earned a freaking bag. Sucks for Knicks fans that you lost him, but hey, that's what happens when you have good players and you didn't re-sign them long term. That's the problem. But Hartenstein, one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. What have I said the entire time about the OKC Thunder? They need to get better rebounding and size. So now you're going to probably be starting 2 7-footers. So you have Chet who can space the floor. Now you have 2 guys that can go up against the Minnesota, where you can throw Chet on a Rudy Gobert or a Karl-Anthony Towns or a Naz Reid or vice versa with Hartenstein. And now you can bang with Nikola Jokic and stuff like that. So Chet doesn't have to take that strain on his body because he is frail and he's not the greatest rebounder for his size. Hartenstein is one of the best rebounders in the NBA, period. Just the offensive chances that they're going to get and defense, just finishing possessions was something that caused a lot of problems for them versus Dallas to me. And by adding a guy like Hartenstein, this is an all-time move. Me and Finn did a whole video on this, so if you want to check that one out, I'll have it popping up in the top right now. But huge deal for OKC. Great get. I love this roster. That 7-man rotation right now with Hartenstein, Shea, Caruso, Chet, J-Dub, J. Will, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, 8-man, and Aaron Wiggins, 9. I mean, that's your rotation right there. I'm excited. This Thunder team is going to be good for so damn long. And this is just a move that while you can still afford to pay a guy $30 million, basically, you do it. And good on the Thunder, man. Presti's so elite. Another re-signee, Derrick White, 4 years, 126, back to the Boston Celtics. We all knew this was coming. Big bag for Derrick White, but boy, is he worth it. I think this Celtics team could be close to unbeatable. But I'm excited to see what they do to handle with the size of Philly, because adding a guy like Paul George allows you to throw him on Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and then Porzingis getting into foul trouble versus Embiid is very likely, and Al Horford, yes, is still there, and he always gives Embiid problems, but this is a guy that is number 1 in the NBA drawing fouls in Joel Embiid. And so Derrick White is another guy you can just throw at Maxey. Those matchups are going to be great. I'm excited. Celtics are just unreal. Lastly, last one of the video. Let me know if there's any I missed. I'll recap them in another video. But Klay Thompson signing with the Dallas Mavericks, 3 years, $50 million. Wow. I've been on here talking about how Klay Thompson's washed. I'm still not going to change my stance on that. It's really just if he can get back to the defensive capabilities of old or close to it, I think that's a huge get for the Mavericks. And also just another guy that can hit shots. Like Luka sees the most double teams in the NBA. Those kickouts to Klay Thompson and the one mores to him in the corner are going to be huge for Dallas, and it just hopefully gives them more consistent three-point shooting. Tim Hardaway was bad for them last year, and he should never be on the floor in the finals game. Klay Thompson has been there. He's done that. He's had the experience. I'm excited for him in Dallas. I'm curious to see how it all works out because I didn't love him last year for Golden State, and I probably don't really love it right now for Dallas, but hey, we'll see. I'm excited. I think you guys should be excited if you're Maverick fans. Hope you're just hoping that he can get back to what he used to be. And I mean, he's a shooter. So as long as he hits shots, spot up shots, that's fine. You just don't want him to be able to be going, trying to create off the dribble for himself at this stage of his career when you have Kyrie and Luka who are way better at it. That's my only thing. And he is a little bit of an egotistical kind of guy in that sense where he thinks he can do it even though he can't. But that's it for this one. Sorry, it's all choppy around, but I had to get these guys in there. Some huge signings. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. And this season's, I know it's 3-4 months away, but I'm so excited. But like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.